Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Welcome, everybody, to the Friends in Recovery podcast with Jersey Ed. I'm your host, Jersey Ed, along with my lovely co-host today, Buckeye Bambi. Hey, Bambi.
Only one co-host today.
Only one co-host. This is like old days, like, when you and I would just kind of go on and do it. And, but yes, we only have one co-host today. Beth had an injury, and she'll tell us about that probably next week when she's on. She's doing okay. She just needed a little rest, and she will be back with us next week. It's always something with her, isn't it, Bambi? Always something. I know.
I wonder if it's just since she joined the podcast, because like her second week, she got hit by a truck.
That's right. That's why we called her Super Beth, right?
Right.
Yeah, we have to ask her. Make a note of that question. Let's ask Super Beth, if it's just when she started with the podcast. So no, we're going to miss you, Beth. Quick healing. And, if you come on here on the Facebook Live, we'll say hello to you. But let's see. If you want to call Friends in Recovery, you don't have to just get us on Facebook Live. The hotline is 800-989-6504. That'll ring directly to one of us. Yes, Bambi, you are on that list now where it's going to ring to.
Okay.
So, if you're not okay with it, then don't pick
everyone
it up.
should call.
That's right. So if you want to get Buckeye Bambi, if you want to get Buckeye Bambi, dial 800-989-6504. But you might get me too. So if you want to email us, remember our email addresses are below here. Carl usually puts them up. And if you want to email the show, if you have any guest suggestions, topic suggestions, help at friendsinrecoverypodcast.com. Our website is up and running, friendsinrecoverycommunity.org. Please go visit that and let us know how you like that. I think it's been going pretty well. If you'd like to send us an email directly, do so. I didn't take that out of the notes. And the purple hearts. I call hearts purple hearts now because of you.
Well, everyone should just give purple hearts all the time.
I looked at the purple heart today because I knew we were. Did it again. I looked at the comments to see what the hearts were, right? And they were all purple. Everything, comment after comment, purple heart, purple heart. I think I put mine. I said, somebody give me a purple heart, holy shit.
That's why people are putting purple hearts, because
right.
you keep telling them to give everyone purple hearts.
That's right. Give me a blue heart. And I don't know if anybody had the heart to give me a blue heart, but we'll see what happens. But Bambi, of course, is purple hearts, like we were talking. Beth, let's give her a little love today because she's not, she's injured, and she'll tell us a little bit more about that. Let's see some orange hearts for Beth. Let's get them going here, guys.
Orange hearts this week.
That's right, orange hearts, and then blue hearts for me, and if you feel like it. For Jersey Ed, the host guy, if you remember me. Anyways, I'd like to thank all our donors who make this show possible. To make a donation, please go to our website, friendsinrecoverycommunity.org. And don't forget, Friends in Recovery podcast is now a part of the Fire Network. Go to, if you're an artist or a podcaster or have something to do with recovery online, go to our website, look under the Fire Network, and under our website, friendsinrecoverycommunity.org. So I just felt a dog under my foot. I don't know how they got in here, but if you hear barking all of a sudden, I thought I had my door shut, but I guess I didn't. So,
well, I've got 2 pugs, so that could be at any moment.
Oh yeah, that's it. They might go off. So okay, we might have dueling dogs here. This week's topic is a big book, no sponsor. What? Big book, no sponsor.
What's that mean?
Stay tuned for some amazing recovery. We will be talking about that in a minute. Sober shout outs. I know, Bambi, you have a couple really good sober shout outs that that we're really proud of. Do you want to go first?
I do. Marianne T, who is a member of our Friends in Recovery community. She has 2 years.
Marianne.
And it was the funniest thing on my 13 month. I was so proud. Another 13 month, and I'm like to my husband, I have to get a present for my 13 month, because we always do a little. It can be a little something, but I mean, even like a little something. I want coffee in bed, or I want something to celebrate every month that I'm sober. So all day long he was being really nice to me because I had 13 months. We went on the noon meeting. We were on the noon meeting at the same time. No, nothing unusual. I announced my 13 month, and my sponsor was on that meeting, and she was all proud of me, and everything. Nothing. That night in the evening meeting, 7:00 meeting, we were both on the meeting again. And all of a sudden, my husband announced his sober date, and he said, "Oh, I have 17 years today." So he had 17 years sober, and I was making him bring me coffee in bed for 13 months. He forgot all about it till he announced.
So on the same day, you guys have the same day?
No, mine was a year and 1 month, but we have the 8th. His is February.
Yeah, the 8th.
And mine is January 8th.
Oh, okay. All right. There you go. All right. So you guys are on the same day, not the same month or the same year. The date is the same.
The date is
all right. Good. Well, congratulations, Matt.
Yeah. I'm like, honey, you should have been telling me I need something for my 17 years sober.
Well,
coffee in bed.
There you go. Well, we can, we should start, because we have a whole bunch of meetings. We can start like the like an Alzheimer's meeting or a forget me not meeting on like we could ask questions like, is it your clean date today? Did you forget your wife's birthday? All that. So Derek popped on. Hey, Derek, 10 years for Derek tomorrow.
And Beth is with us in Facebook land.
What's that?
Beth is with us.
Beth is, hey, Beth.
Facebook land.
Hey,
we
Beth.
Miss you, Beth.
There she is. Hey, Beth. Hey, Derek, how you feeling? Thumbs up or thumbs down? You okay? Derek had some surgery, and we want to keep him in our prayers. And Derek's a friend of Friends in Recovery. So
and 10 years. Wow.
10 years. Yep.
At least he remembered the day before.
Yeah, exactly. Thumbs up with Derek. So he's doing good, guys. Send us an email about Derek and wishing him well here. So let's see. My sober shout out. I know I have a sober shout out. Well, Matt, congratulations on 17 years. That's amazing. And like my sponsor always says, how'd you do it? One day at a time, right? We did it one day at a time. So, so congratulations on that, Marianne. It's great I seen her on a meeting the other day. It was great to see her. And, so congratulations on that, Marianne. My standard kind of shout out that goes almost every week. Well, it does go every week because Carl's a good friend of mine, and Carl does a lot for this show. A lot of behind the scenes stuff, guys, that you really don't see. Carl does a lot of stuff that you see on here, and he really takes care of us. So I want to shout out to Carl and Chelsea, SoberPod. I had a couple long drives. I was up at the camp trip, the winter camping trip. So I had a long drive up, and I usually listen to Carl and Chelsea SoberPod on my long runs on Sunday. But as you guys know, I have not ran since December 10th. And so now I don't have any long runs. I don't have any runs at all. So I'm like, when am I going to listen to my So I listened to SoberPod all the way up and all the way back, and I think I'm caught up with all the shows. But they're wonderful. We love you guys. Please check out SoberPod. Second best to Friends in Recovery podcast, of course.
Yes, you need to tell us about your camping trip.
Oh, I could tell you about our camping trip.
Tell us about that.
Oh, that's right. We had
sober fun.
We had a lot of sober fun, guys. And one of the reasons why we do band, I'm glad you brought all this up. Maybe we won't talk about the sponsorship. One of the reasons why we have Friends in Recovery Adventures, look on our Facebook page, is because I always got asked, what do you do for fun now? What do you mean, what do I do for fun? I do everything. There's a calendar to my left. You can't see. It's a huge calendar on my wall. I put all my personal, not my work stuff, all my personal achievements and what I'm going to do, marathons, kayak trips, camping, challenges that I do, everything on this calendar, because I'm not going to stop living just because I got into recovery, because I stopped drinking. People think that, so that calendar over there, and I'll put a picture up in the Facebook page for everybody so they can see it. But the calendar just keeps me going, and it just keeps me kind of understanding that I can do these things. So the camping trip was one of those things, Bambi, where we just had fun. There was about 5 or 6 of us. There were 6 or 7, so whatever it was. And we just kind of sat around a fire at night. It was chilly at night. It was in the 20s, below 20s at night, which wasn't too bad. Last year was in the teens or the single digits. I like to give a shout out to Sean, who was with us. He was one of the friends in recovery. Sean E and Johnny R both did cold plunges for the first time. They took an ice bath. Sean went about 9 o'clock at night, and John went during the day, but they were still cold. So we had a nice little cold plunge over there.
Wait, we're talking about having fun in recovery.
Oh, well, that's when you go into the sweat lodge that we had to warm up. Come on, baby. That's a lot of fun. God, we sat around, smoked cigars, told stories. The highlight of my, and I know it's going to sound weird, but the highlight of my camping trip, Bambi, was, of course, the 12-step meeting.
It was great.
It was an amazing meeting. Thank you all for who attended. I was just at a special time, 8:15 on Saturday night. And, this is how the program works, guys. We're all having fun. We did a great hike that day. We hiked 5 miles. We got up to this tower. A lot of us conquered our fears by climbing up this huge tower on top of this mountain, hiked back down. And then, it was about an hour before the meeting. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to talk about the meeting? We had so much other stuff planned that we were going, eating and, whatever. I had nothing planned about the meeting. And then when the meeting came, it just took care of itself. Hands down. It was one of the better meetings that I've been at, that was kind of you just run with it. You know what I mean? So
shares from the heart. People were,
yes.
I mean, it was great. It was a really good meeting.
Yeah, it was an amazing meeting. So that was kind of the whole weekend. And if you want more information on what we're doing, the kayak trip, just to let you guys know, is going to be August 17th through the 20th. It's going to be a 50-mile kayak trip. Let us know if you want to join. We'll give you more details. Email us, and we'll give you more details about it. And that's
join our Facebook page, Jed. Yeah. They should join our Facebook page if they're interested in sober activities and sober fun, because Friends in Recovery Adventures on Facebook.
That's right. Yeah, please join that too. So get on all those social media things, and we'll give you updates on that. And of course, just drop one of us an email, and we'll give you more information about it. And the other thing too is if you want to start some adventures in your area, it doesn't have to be we're in New Jersey or South Carolina or Illinois or wherever it is. We can do one in your backyard. Just let us know, and we'll help you organize one. That's what we do. We organize shit over here. Well, you think we would by the way everything looks, but we have a lot of good people that help us out, like Bambi. So anyways, well, that's it. The camping trip was great. Thank you guys for everybody who attended, Doug, Isaac, Ronnie, and everybody else who I named. So Bambi, you know what time it is?
Question of the week.
Question of the week.
Question of the week. There it is.
Boom, boom.
All right. Boom. There's some confetti, Carl. Confetti here for Bambi, which you didn't give to her last time. So, anyways, I think it should be a standing policy that when we say question of the week, the fireworks go off, and then when it comes back to you, there should be confetti exploding in your box, right?
Yeah, because he didn't give me confetti for my 1 year. He didn't give me confetti after my 1 year, and he didn't give me confetti when I got out of jail.
That's it. So there you go, Carl. We want an ongoing confetti blast after the question of the week is announced. So anyways, well, Bambi, you ask what? What is the question of the week?
What is the question of the
The question of the week comes from us from Omaha, Nebraska. No, I'm just kidding. So the question of the week was, what unhealthy snacks can you not get enough of? I figured that was a pretty cool one, since I'm such a freaking, not running, gaining a little weight and going, kind of off left field with everything. So Bambi, what snacks don't you get enough of?
When I'm trying to eat healthy, which I have been trying to eat healthy, and I kind of have, through the holidays, everyone gets off a little bit, and I was off a little bit. There's only one thing that if it's put in front of me, if I smell it, if I see it, if I dream about it, I have to have it. And that's pizza.
Pizza. Oh, that's a good one.
I can eat it breakfast, lunch, dinner, midday. It doesn't matter. I have no self-control over pizza.
I hear you. What's that?
Maybe I need to go to Pizza Anonymous.
You might. There's a PA. That's where guys, look for our new PA meeting Thursday nights at 8.
I'll be there.
Yeah, Bambi's the leader she's the leader of every freaking meeting almost. So what's another one, Bambi? Let's just throw that one in there.
Anonymous.
Exactly. So pizza. Pizza's I have a weakness for pizza too. Tell you a quick story about pizza. I was in business in South Carolina, St. Louis. And there was a pizza place right down the road. And it was either pizza or baseball, right? Pizza or baseball. I was like, I'm going to get the pizza. I was hungry. I didn't want to sit through a whole baseball game, get paid, get in. And I'm just going to have a piece of pizza anyways and leave. So I went to the pizza joint, and it was like this little kind of like little rundown place. And I don't even remember the name. It was so long ago. The best pizza ever. Now they say New York, New Jersey has the best pizza. I agree with that, but this place had the best pizza ever. And Bambi, they had a pizza challenge. Okay. It was, I didn't do the pizza challenge. I probably could have done it. I think it requires 2 people, but they had, and I think it was on one of the cooking shows, on one of the cooking networks. They had something. Yeah, one of those. Yeah, I bet you it was. Yeah. They had a special thing for the oven because the pizza was so big that they had to slide it in and close the door that way because the door had to stay open because the pizza was so big. It was this craziest thing in the world. Somebody was doing a challenge while I was there. It was really, really cool. So, but yeah, pizza is definitely. Matt says Chicago deep dish, and Beth, of course, says all the snacks. Every snack out there is Beth's weakness. Oh God, my weakness, guys. Mine are. It's a toss up. It's a toss up between chips and salsa, which I literally just had before I came on this show. Okay, chips and salsa, and Ben and Jerry's Chubby Hubby. I was
just gonna guess ice cream for you, Ed, because every time you're always like coming on the meeting or something, you're like, oh, I gotta get off because I gotta go get my ice cream before they close.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that was over the summer, but yes, ice cream. I would have to say my number one go-to is definitely ice cream. Hands down, ice cream. Derek says Oreos. Oreos. I can hammer out a stack of those fuckers like you wouldn't believe, especially 2:00 in the morning. So, oh God. So, guys, here we are. We are gonna talk about the show now. We're gonna talk about the topic. Big Book, no sponsor, huh? That's crazy, right? Big Book. No sponsor. What kind of program is that? Like, who would do that program, right? Well, Beth, you want to tell them why we're talking about? First of all, it's sponsor month. Everybody, welcome to sponsor month. February is sponsor month. Oh, there's the dogs. Hold on. Sorry about that. Carl,
mine will start. They'll hear yours and then they start.
And it is sponsor month, so we were coming up with a topic today, and Bambi found this topic. Big Book. No sponsor. So again, Bambi, tell them why we have that topic.
Says the word sponsor cannot be found in the first 164 pages in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Wow. But a 12-step directly asks everyone who has recovered to carry this message to others. So in essence, to become a sponsor. But if you think about it, there's no word sponsor in the first writing of the big book.
Yeah. I even went through how it works. You figure how it works has to be something about a sponsor in there. It's not.
No.
I mean, we read how it works almost every meeting, and there's nothing about sponsorship. But as we were talking last week, it's so important to have a sponsor, so important to get that sponsor right away. What this big book does say, you're what, protege?
Protege.
Yeah, protege. But Beth, is that in the first 164 pages? Let's see what she says. Well, anyways, we'll keep going on. But anyways, I don't know what I was talking about, but that was kind of weird that there is no word sponsor in the first 164 pages, right? So.
Right. But Bill does come back later and talk about it in the language of the heart. He says every sponsor is necessarily a leader. And so Bill W. does come back and use the word sponsor in later literature.
And in the stories, there's that's in there also, right?
Right, because the stories came later.
Yeah. Beth is insisting that it also does say your man.
Well, your protege, but it just doesn't call it a sponsor.
Yes, it doesn't pinpoint a sponsor, right? Would Andy, my sponsor, walk up to me and say, "I'm your man," or "You're my man," right? Well, I don't know about that one. Hope he's not listening. But sponsor. I mean, that's what we know it by. I was always told to get a sponsor early in my program, and I did, because I was shit scared, right, of drinking again, because I knew where it was going to take me. And, they told me to get a sponsor right away. And I did. Now, like I shared last week on the show, I went through a couple of sponsors before I found my sponsor that I have today, who's a wonderful man. But I did what the book says, because I did what the program says, because my thinking did not work any other way. Right. Like, I got high all the time. I got drunk. I did everything. My thinking got me right into these rooms. Now I'm going to let you guys think for me. And when they say get a sponsor, and again, like I said, I was shit scared not to have a sponsor. So I got a sponsor immediately. And how can you go through? I mean, let me ask you this, Bambi. How long before you had your sponsor in this program?
They found me a sponsor before I got out of treatment.
Okay, good.
A temporary sponsor.
Did you use her?
I did. And actually she became my permanent sponsor until circumstances was such that she couldn't sponsor me anymore.
Okay.
Then I had to get my current sponsor, and hopefully we'll be with her forever. So yeah. I'm afraid of your sponsor. Ended immediately, get at least have a temporary sponsor, someone that'll sponsor you. And they had people actually through the treatment center that I was in that had volunteered to do sponsorship for people just until they find a sponsor.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Yes. And so you had a sponsor right away. So you were never without a sponsor. Maybe an hour when you got the other one, right?
Right.
And that's how I was with my sponsor. I had two sponsors, so actually three. Andy was my third. And like I told you in last week, you have to listen to last week's shows why. But I just didn't. First of all, this book is pretty big. It's the big book, right? How are you supposed to get through this book just coming out of a treatment center, or I was high on cocaine 2 weeks before they handed me this book? How do you get through this? Right. And everything.
How do you even understand it?
Exactly.
I mean, seriously, when your brain's not at its best, when you first, become sober, you're like, you need someone to explain that to you. I have so much writing on my book, from everything that my sponsor has said and when I go to meetings and things, but I couldn't understand that just reading it. It meant nothing.
No, even the first 164 pages, I can't even understand. I mean, I read How It Works Now, and I just get the gist of it, right? And Beth, when she's on here, she always gives her wonderful wisdom of the big book.
Yeah.
So I'm always learning through the big book, and then, sitting in meetings and everybody quotes things from the big book, at the beginning. I remember this is all at the beginning. Everybody go, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah. I'm like, I have no clue what they're talking about. Like, no clue. So I'd run back. Now, we didn't have cell phones back then, but we were just starting to get them. I'd run back and call my sponsor, and hey, they said blah 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 and this and that, and my sponsor would help me through it. I had some wonderful sponsors that took their time with me, that really kind of explained things to me, and that's really, really important. But they didn't over explain things, Bambi. I want to read something out of Living Sober. Get ready, I'm going to read.
Okay, I'm excited. I'll kick back
about 10 minutes. All right. Yeah. So on page 26, under availing your sponsor, it's and this is really important, guys, to me anyways, that this didn't happen or doesn't happen with my sponsor, any of my sponsors. It says an AA sponsor is not a professional caseworker or counselor of any sort. A sponsor is not someone to borrow money from, nor get clothes, job, or food from. A sponsor is not a medical expert, nor qualified to give religious, legal, domestic, or psychiatric advice. Although a good sponsor is usually willing to discuss such matters confidentially and often can suggest where the appropriate professional assistance can be obtained. And I'm so glad my sponsor wasn't that kind of sponsor. I hear the horror stories. You shouldn't be on MAT. You shouldn't be taking that psychiatric medication. You should. Who the fuck are you? Or if you're a doctor, then okay, I'll listen to you. But if not, I don't think there's any business of sponsors doing that. And I do not do that with any of my sponsees. It's your program. If you ask for a therapist or something, hey, yeah, go find one. Look in the phone book, whatever it is. Google somebody. But I would never give any of that stuff. Because that's not what a sponsor's job does. I believe a sponsor's job, probably 90% of the time, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, because you got 97 fucking sponsees. So that I believe it's 90% of the time is to listen, right?
To listen and just to walk them through the steps. I mean, our job as a sponsor is to get them through these 12 steps. With a lot of listening, a lot of sharing of experience, because it says that we will share our experience, that through our experience, we will help others. Mm-hmm. So we share our experience, we listen to them, we work through the 12 steps so that they can start sponsoring others, because that's the 12th step, is to give back.
Exactly. But again, that could even be the 10%, like I'm maybe 75, 25 listening, because I remember getting coming in, and you just, like my sponsor always tells me, don't vomit in the rooms, right? Don't word vomit in the rooms. Do that with me. You know what I mean? So I remember and I never did that. If I had an issue or something, I just kind of touch on it and then just get some suggestions or whatever. But when I really want to get into the harder problem, I still talk to my sponsor. Most of the time is the speaking with is me talking to my sponsor. But also, as a good sponsee, I have to listen too, because I know my sponsor has really good advice. I shouldn't say advice. I'm sorry. Really good suggestions. And the reason why he has those good suggestions is because he lived it. He did it before, or some way, shape, or form, or his network had some experience in whatever that case may be. Guys, if you think that anything that you fucking say to your sponsor is unique, you're out of your fucking mind. Seriously. Like, you're completely out of your mind. If you don't think your sponsor didn't hear it or even said it to his or her sponsor, come on. That's what this program is about. And don't be, and I think you're going to read something about a sponsorship, right? Wasn't there something you want to read about sponsorship where it said the sponsor should, I don't know, whatever. Read that, and I want to just elaborate a little bit on that.
Okay, well, it just says that a good sponsor,
Yes.
this is AA sponsor responsibilities, and this is just suggested from the AA website. Number one, that you're sober. So your sponsor has to be sober. You have to have worked the 12 steps with your own sponsor.
Two good traits.
You have to have humility.
Mm.
You have compassion. You have good active listening skills. So there's where your listening is, good active listening skills. Clear expectations for you and your sponsee. So, you make sure that you sit down before you become a sponsor and you go over your expectations for them and you explain what their expectations of you should be, and you make sure that they match, good and some of those good things, some of those expectations of a good sponsor are being able to set boundaries with sponsoring. So, and we did touch on that some last week. Again, you're not a therapist, you're not a marriage counselor, you can say, it sounds like maybe a marriage counselor, check into it if you feel like that's necessary, but you're not that.
No.
And another thing that I think, and this isn't in there, but I think that a sponsor helps you grow your network of people.
Okay. I like that.
Either taking you to meetings, introducing you to other people, helping you grow that, so that, because you can't be there 24/7 always. If you're busy, there has to be other people that person can go to. So I think that, at least for me, it's important that I get, I have 4 sponsees, and I have them on a text thread together that we text daily.
Okay.
And so when I'm not available or when something comes up, they have other people to talk to, the sober sisters is what we call ourselves. And, and I feel like that's important as a sponsor, because you can isolate, us alcoholics, we isolate. We want to sit in our house. We don't want to go anywhere. We don't want to meet people. We don't want to hop on a Zoom room and say, hey, I'm Bambi, I'm an alcoholic,
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I like that text thread that you have, because it gets people introduced to each other. I think that's a great idea. I really do like that. We kind of have that with Friends in Recovery.
Right.
And that's a great text thread to get into, because we're connecting people. And like you said, let's be serious, guys. AA is about connections, right? I mean, it's about the best connections you can make for yourself so you can stay sober. That's what it's about. Right. I mean, if you don't make connections, you don't talk to people, you don't get a sponsor, you don't work the steps, you just go to meetings, it's not going to work. Just not going to work. I mean, it may work. It might keep you sober.
Yeah, you'd be a dry drunk.
Yeah.
You're not gonna, the promises are not going to, just mysteriously come true if you're not working for them.
No, they're not. And that's it. You have to work for them. That's exactly it. Just like anything else in life, you have to work for it to get it, and, as we get older, we accomplish more things in our lives. As we get older, we, have more things in our lives. I remember being young, and saying, oh, I wish I had a house. I was like 19 years old. Well, I just got out of high school. I mean, how am I going to get a house? And I'm doing every drug under the sun and drinking everything I can, but I didn't work towards that. Now I understand it. I got sober. I worked towards it. I saved my money, and now I have a house, and that's how it works. That's how anything works, especially the program. And there are times that I don't want to work the program. There are times, Bambi, I don't want to call my sponsor. And you know why? Because I know he's going to be right with the shit that I tell him. I know he's going to be right, but that's what we have to do. And it's funny because I haven't spoken to my sponsor. I kind of fell off. I think I was sharing in a meeting, I think, about this, but I kind of fell off the beam. Nothing big deal, just didn't call my sponsor for a while. I got busy with work. I took the new job on. I didn't see my therapist for almost 2 months. And I was like, I feel like crap. I feel like crap. So finally, last week, I got a hold of my sponsor. I probably didn't speak to him in 2 or 3 weeks, but that's huge for me. 2 or 3 weeks, because 2 or 3 days. Yeah, 2 or 3 days is not. Now, I tempted to call him, and he tempted to call me back and forth within those days, but we still didn't connect. That is not a connection, guys. Calling your sponsor and leaving a voicemail, it is not that doesn't count as calling your sponsor, guys. It just doesn't, in my book,
Right.
anyways. But we kind of all got back to, I got back on the beam. I'm telling you guys, therapy. I'm not a therapist. I'm a I don't know. Well, I'm the receiver of the therapy, but it works wonders because I did an hour session with my therapist last week, and boom, he snapped me right back into shape. Got on the phone with my sponsor. Been calling my sponsor ever since. I'm back on the beam. Back on the right beam again. And
don't you feel better? I mean,
yeah.
you feel so much better. Like
Yeah.
I almost feel like I have a little withdrawal when I go without talking to my sponsor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like I just got to call her. And she's got a crazy busy schedule, but we always find time to, connect here and there for a few, and it just keeps me feeling on the beam straight.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Because we can, and I don't mean falling off the wagon, just falling off the beam, and it's harder to walk, in those rough patches than it is with your sponsor guiding you. My sponsor guides me through things. He doesn't tell me what to do. He suggests this is what I do. Why? Because he probably did it before, or probably understands what I'm looking at. Because when I look at something, in my mind, I look at it with a closed mind. When I tell my sponsor about the problem, he looks at it with an open mind and makes suggestions to me, and I know this is a lot of basic sponsor stuff we're talking about, but sometimes we need a refresher course. Let's take the last 3 weeks of Ed C's, Jersey Ed's life. Refresher course of a sponsor, let's get back on track. So, Michelle. Hey, Michelle, she says, falling off the spiritual wagon is so easy. That is true. Right. And that's another good thing, Bambi, is to have a sponsor. First of all, of course, and we spoke about this last week, has a sponsor that you have something in common with. And for me, I need a very spiritual person in my life. Because I can be that not spiritual person, you know what I mean? And, it's just kind of good for me to have that spiritual person in my life. So yeah, Michelle, that's it. It's falling off the spiritual wagon. So, any thoughts on like your sponsor, Bambi? I know, with all good luck, next week we're going to have her on the show. We will have her on the show. Yeah, usually when Camden Kathy says something, she does it. So
she does. She does.
But what's some of your thoughts about what's some of your best traits about your sponsor? Why do you have your sponsor?
Well, it's so funny, but the best thing is that she tells me where I can find my answers right from the big book. I swear the woman just knows. And if she doesn't know, she'll be like, hold on. And she'll call me right back and she'll say, you need to read this page. You need to read that page. You need to, she goes straight from the big book, but she's such a caring soul that, and maybe instead of like, well, like you said, your sponsor will give you suggestions or something like that. Instead of that, I kind of like the way she does it is she'll let me come up with my options, and when you speak them out loud to someone, it's pretty obvious what the good option is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, what could you do about that kind of thing? she just has that way of making you put forth the answer that that you should do anyway, kind of thing. And she's just, and I know that she loves me, she cares about me, she cares about this journey that I'm on, and you just can't ask for more in a sponsor, someone that loves you and wants you to stay clean and sober. And if they can impart any wisdom at all, and she gets it straight from this big book, like I'll call her and she'll be like, say the resentment prayer, read page 417, do this, do that, read page 86 through 88, she just, she just gives me exactly what I need.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what a sponsor is supposed to do. Nothing more, nothing less. You take away what you need and then you go, the big book, my sponsor always says, if it's not in the big book, if the answer is not in the big book, don't worry about it. and it's kind of true, if the answer is not in a big book, don't worry about it, because that's not what he's here for. My sponsor's not here to tell me the theory of relativity. My sponsor isn't here to talk about the baseball games. I mean, yeah, we do, but that's not what he's here for. He's here for every page in this big book to tell me, to guide me, not even tell me, to guide me through this book. And he's right. If the answer is not in the big book, don't worry about it. Go ask somebody else. Go talk to a baseball analyst. Go talk to this one. Go talk to that one. This is what he's here for. He is here to guide me through this book. And I love that answer. So one quick thing, we're going to wrap up here, Bambi. Sponsorship, sponsors are leaders. They are part of our leadership, right? I mean, think about this. We'd have, how many people running around without sponsors? We'd have the leaders like Bill and Bob. They were our leaders. They formed this program, but they couldn't do everything. So they had to, kind of trickle down to us, and to carry their message. We need to be leaders, and that's what real true leaders do. They lead, they guide, but they don't tell you what to do. They don't micromanage. And that's in business. That's in AA. That's in my family life. And that's what a good leader does. And that is why I picked my sponsor for who he is. He is an amazing leader. He doesn't tell me I have to do it. He suggests that I do it. If you want to feel better, I suggest you do this. If you don't want to feel better, that's okay. That's okay. So that's what my take is on sponsors. They're leaders, and leaders that it doesn't. And I think Michelle said it before, ego, check your ego, right? And when you're a sponsor, the ego could, I got 5 guys calling me. I go, and they want no, that's not how it goes. No. Leadership is very, very important to stay in your lane, sponsorship, leadership, whatever you want to call it, and guide people on these pages in this book.
These 12 steps so that they can do it for the next person.
That's it. Yep. Well, Bambi, from not knowing what we're doing to pretty good show. I have to admit, we had some technical difficulties at the beginning, but we pulled it through. And thank you everybody on Facebook, Michelle and Beth, feel better. Who else was on? Derek, you feel better too. Matt's on. Matt was on, right?
And Dave Huff is watching us. I know you can see those people, but Dave's watching us. So
good. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much, Bambi. I do miss Beth, absolutely.
I do. Come back, Beth.
I know. And, I'm very proud to have you as a co-host and Beth as a co-host too. I know I said this a couple of times, but I think the show is the best it's ever been with us, and just the information that we're giving out. Because I'll be honest with you too, I'll close with this. My leadership kind of thing that I went off on, we are leaders. People look up to us. So when we come onto this show, we're like sponsors or leaders. We make sure that we have the right information for you guys, because some people, I know I listen to SoberPod religiously. I listen to another, it's not a recovery podcast, but the 3 is 7 with Chad Wright. And I really look up to those 2 different podcasts, and I get my information from them. And when we come on here, I want to make sure we are the best servants. That's what we are on here. We're servants for you guys. We carry the message on here so you guys can take the message and carry it out in real life. I think that's how it works. I mean, that's kind of what I think anyway. So all the 3 people that watch us. Well, Bambi, great show. I was looking forward to this show, and I know Beth was too, but she is is on the couch with her foot up. We'll learn more about that next week. Yes. And next week we're gonna have your sponsor on. We hope that's gonna be a great show. I am probably gonna be sitting in the corner just watching behind the mic because she scares me.
She's a tough one, isn't she?
She is, yes, yeah. But we love Camden Kathy, and yeah. So guys, look forward to that show. Anything you need on our website, Friends in Recovery community.org, and stay sober, everybody.
Bye-bye.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.